Good evening. Everything was fine until I let them on my lawn. If they would have stayed off my damn lawn... No, I don't know. I don't know where that came from. I just literally, like, the last 30 seconds before the end of the intro, I thought, yeah, why not? And the answer to that, why not? Because it's pretty stupid. Anyway, hope everybody's doing well. I, just tired again, and my neck, man, if I could get my neck to go into place. So I've got this plan. After the show, I'm going to go outside and I'm going to just lay my head out in the road, and hopefully somebody runs over my neck and adjusts it for me. No, I've got a much less traumatic way. No, I really don't. It hurts like hell. Anyway, it just is what it is. Man, I'll tell you, news is getting wackier and wackier in some aspects. I did just little updates here. I did get the 60 watt folding panel from EcoFlow today, and had a chance to check it out a little bit. I'm still gonna have to give it a good hard meh. Yeah, it is what it is. I do like it. I do like it better than any of the other portable panels I have, and I will show you why in a video. So probably these days that I have off from doing the live shows, I'll be working on videos for not just the power boxes themselves, both the EcoFlow River 600 and the EcoFlow Delta 1300. I'll also be doing a video on, it might even all wind up being the same video, who knows, on the 60 watt portable panel from EcoFlow. So it does look, it's better than what I have. I think time is the only thing that's going to tell on delamination. And there's I can't guess at that. I have never had a panel that's designed quite like this one. However, the materials are still the same, and I have a feeling they're still going to suffer from the same delamination that any of the others so far do. So, anyway, I'll get into that on the videos and show you guys what I'm talking about. Still, I'm going to say, unless you have a very, very specific cause to need a folding portable panel, go with a rigid, hard panel. Well, not hopefully plural, because, 100 watts or whatever is not going to get you real far. And I think people learn that. Today, I even had I took the river out, and I initially just had the 60 watt EcoFlow panel hooked up to it. And I'm going to be honest, I did actually see 50 watts at one point. It was just a quick flash of it, but I did see 50 watts. So I'm convinced that if I messed with it enough and got it just right, that I could pull in 50 watts out of that 60 watt portable panel. And that is impressive. I will give it that. That is impressive. However, again, it's the delamination that I'm concerned with. Performance isn't too bad, which all that means is they didn't massively overrate it. However, let's talk about weight. Weight, and I'll go over this stuff in the video too, but it's just under 10 pounds for the panel and the case together, which that's how you would be carrying it, right? Just under 10 pounds. Now, I'm thinking of these hard panels, and they're 14 pounds apiece. So, is that really any, and then when you get to setting the thing up, you're looking at it, and it's like, well, that's not any smaller than, that same amount of space. I could almost fit 200 watts worth of panels where you've got 160 watt panel. So I'm just failing to understand the portability. They can't take any more abuse than a rigid panel. You can't beat them, banging them around. You can't fold them. You can't. No. They can, I wouldn't even recommend a slight bend. I know that they claim flexible, but trust me, keep them puppies as flat and unaffected as possible, because I'm telling you, if you look at them funny, they're going to start delaminating. So, anyway, I'll get off my soapbox about the portable panels. It just really, it gets me. And then Pinball makes a video today, funny as hell. I'll admit when I'm wrong. I've yet to hear him say anything to anybody about how he was wrong for calling me out for using rigid panels, doing the intelligent thing to do. Cracks me up. Anywho, let's see. Other than that, like I said, I just kind of kept up on headlines today. I was shocked to see the headlines come in about the troops. I thought that, that would kind of get washed under the rug, or swept under the rug, I guess. But apparently not. So I guess they're still trying to push forward. However, the Air Force might be okay, at least for the time being. I do have a couple of tabs open that relate to that, as well as I don't have a bunch open tonight. I figured I'd make it another easy night. There's not really a whole ton. I mean, there's always a ton going on, but it's not. It's not news that sets me back and really causes deep concern. I mean, we're getting there. Hang on a minute. And I am just tired. I can't sleep in, no matter how bad I would want to. I can't do it. I could sit there and close my eyes for as long as I want, and I'm just not gonna fall back asleep. When I'm up, I'm up. And I fall asleep kind of late. By the time I'm done tossing and turning and everything else, by the time I actually fall asleep, it's many nights, it's probably midnight, 12:30, by the time I actually fall asleep, many nights. And then I'm up at many mornings, about 5:30 or so. And that's just not really enough, yo. But there's nothing I can do. Just wears me out. Alright, let me get switched over here. First, I'll talk about this, and then I'll talk about the Air Force, their situation. Hundreds of thousands of U.S. troops may face dismissal. Says here, the Biden administration's strict COVID-19 vaccination mandates place more than 13% of the U.S. fighting forces at risk of discharge, according to the Department of Defense data updated on Wednesday. The Pentagon's website shows 268,858 partially vaccinated individuals across the Army, Marines, Navy, and Air Force, plus another 50,710 civilian employees. However, the figures don't include service members who have no shots at all, meaning the real number imperiled by the administration's vaccine mandates could be significantly higher. While unvaxxed soldiers whose requests for medical and religious exemptions are pending are supposedly exempt from the requirement, Marine reservist Mike Berry told Breitbart that religious exemptions have only been granted to individuals already on their way out of the military. Some 6,400 service members have already been kicked out for refusing to get the shot, with the majority being Marines. According to the statistics cited by Breitbart, That's despite the fact that a court injunction has barred the Navy from discharging any sailor seeking a religious exemption, while political pushback has stopped the Pentagon from labeling the departed with a dishonorable discharge. Even a general discharge can mean a loss of benefits and a black mark on a soldier's disciplinary record. The Army began stepping up administrative proceedings against the partially and unvaccinated last week, explaining the non-compliant would no longer receive pay as of July or be allowed to participate in federally funded drills and training. A statement by the military branch warns those who refuse the mandatory vaccination order may be subject to additional adverse administrative action, including separation. The deadline for part-time Army reservists and National Guardsmen to receive the vaccine passed last week, leaving 12% of reservists, about 22,740 people, not fully vaccinated. Some 13.1% of the Army National Guard, that's 44,000 soldiers, are also not fully vaccinated, a spokesperson told Army Times. When confronted about the effect on the U.S. military readiness of potentially discharging tens of thousands of unvaccinated soldiers, Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff Mark Milley, what a moron, downplayed the problem, insisting the numbers are very low, by the way, of those are refusing to be vaccinated, calling the problem manageable, and arguing that soldiers should just shut up and take their shots. Yeah, that's all they should do, just take orders. And I know in the military, largely, that's what it's about. But you know what? You're not supposed to have to follow an unconstitutional order. And while I understand that military members for a long time has had to undergo a wide regimen of vaccinations, they have all been, to my knowledge, vaccinations that have ran through the entire process of testing correctly, and not something for the common course. You know, I'm sure they do a whole hell of a lot of testing on our military men and women. I'm sure of it. I know they do. But I'm talking about the regimen that they normally get. You know, all those vaccinations have been around. Most of them have been around for a good long while. And the ones that hadn't been along for a good long while, they're not some new type of breaking, technology that we never used before, like the mRNA vaccine. So I think there's a lot of issues that I think that are very valid reasons, that go far beyond the medical and religious. And they are medical reasons, but medical reasons that go beyond you having a medical problem that would put you at extra risk. I mean, the threat itself from something that we know so little about and have no experience with. I mean, this is it. And they're wanting to mandate it. Well, you all know that. We've been dealing with it the last 3 damn years. Well, not the vaccine, I guess, but still. Air Force barred from booting the unvaccinated. So this had happened since a federal judge in Ohio on Thursday certified a national class action lawsuit against the U.S. Air Force and issued a restraining order forbidding the military branch from enforcing a COVID-19 vaccine mandate on airmen seeking a religious exemption. What about air women? Judge Matthew McFarland ordered the entire Air Force to cease the mandatory vaccination of all active duty and reserve members objecting on religious grounds. The order is temporary and expires in 14 days, during which time President Joe Biden, Secretary of the Air Force Frank Kendall III, is required to make his case. For the mandates to stand. Let's see. The case was brought by a few dozen airmen stationed at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Dayton, Ohio, but McFarland's ruling impacts more than 9,000 service members nationally and internationally who have sought religious exemptions from the jab. According to court documents, the Air Force had only approved 86 of these requests as of early June. That's insane. That Ohio, though, that just reminds me of that case. A lot of people are talking about it right now. Totally off topic from this, but that apparently the leftist media had really been pushing a situation with a 10-year-old girl that unfortunately had to receive an abortion as a result of sexual abuse. And man, it's just insane. And the more that I hear about it, Tim Pool has went in length about it. Glenn Beck has went in depth on it. And it's just mind-blowing. I guess if there was something today that really kind of set me back, it was that. I mean, that's just insane. And there is no excuse that they could say, that they could come up with, that would make their actions and or lack of actions okay. It's pretty nuts. Pretty nuts. But anyway, that's a totally different subject. Oh, man. Let's see. Thought this was a pretty interesting statement. Hang on, trying to get a few vapes, not pausing for drama or nothing. I just want some strawberry milk nicotine. Yum, yum. I'm glad I got the flavoring. I think I got enough flavoring to make that for a while. World is nearing brink of nuclear war, says Tulsi Gabbard. Here says President Joe Biden's administration is driving the world toward a devastating nuclear conflict by using the Ukraine crisis to fight a proxy war with Russia. Former Congresswoman and 2020 presidential candidate Tulsi Gabbard has warned. The American people need to understand the seriousness of the situation that the Biden administration and leaders in Washington have put us in, Gabbard said on Wednesday night in a Fox News interview. The Hawaii Democrat, who was among the candidates whom Biden defeated to win his party's 2020 presidential nomination, called for stepping back to focus on the big picture and the great threat that we face, which is the reality of that this war is continuing to escalate. Biden has led the charge for international sanctions to punish Moscow over its military offensive in Ukraine. The U.S. has approved $70 billion in aid, including advanced weaponry to help Ukraine fight Russian forces. During a visit to Israel on Thursday, Biden said Washington will continue to provide such aid indefinitely to ensure that Moscow suffers a strategic failure in Ukraine. President Biden himself says he has no idea when or how it's going to end, but we know where this escalation leads, Gabbard said. It leads us closer and closer to the brink of a nuclear war with Russia. Biden's anti-Russia campaign has contributed to the highest U.S. inflation rate in more than 40 years, including record gasoline and diesel prices. Nevertheless, Democratic and Republican war hawks alike have backed the strategy. After voting to approve a $40 billion Ukraine aid package in May, U.S. Representative Dan Crenshaw said investing in the destruction of our adversary's military without losing a single American troop strikes me as a good idea. Gabbard argued that the U.S. leaders are being cavalier about the crisis, ignoring the risk of triggering a catastrophic war with Russia. She gave the example of a recent public service announcement, or PSA, in New York City, which advised residents to stay indoors in the event of a nuclear attack. Oh, and it's not just that. I'm not going to read the rest of this, but They're also apparently putting up signs in malls now, too. So I guess in New Jersey, there's a mall that somebody had taken a picture of a sign that was posted. Well, it was like a big, tall sign, almost as tall as a person, with pretty much the same instructions that the lady gave in the video. Pretty much the same thing on the sign. So I thought I had a picture of it, but I didn't nab it. I thought I nabbed it. Apparently not. Oh well, not a big deal. Well, I mean, nuclear war is kind of a big deal, but the fact I don't have that picture handy, not so much. The world will be okay. 1 second. Okay. Alright, U.S. and Israel plan joint laser development. If we're just now working together on this, I'd say we're probably behind, but I'm pretty sure we have been for a while. Pretty sure, like, I don't know, for the last 42 years that I know of. American and Israeli defense contractors will work jointly on building laser weapons that can shoot down enemy missiles, President Joe Biden announced during a visit to Jerusalem. As we move forward together, partners in both security and innovation, the United States and Israel defense sectors will cooperate in new, high-energy laser weapon systems that can defend Israeli lives as well as the lives of American service members, Biden said on Thursday in a joint press conference with Israeli Prime Minister Yair Lapid at his side. The president made his comments after meeting with Lapid, I don't know if that's how you say his name or not, and pledging that Washington would never allow Iran to acquire a nuclear weapon and was ready to use all elements of its national power to ensure that outcome, declaring that the scourge of anti-Semitism still marches around the world, he added. You have an ironclad commitment from the United States of America to Israel's security, an ironclad commitment. Yeah, and that's something that's bipartisan too, that I'm like, Biden noted that the U.S. provided record military aid to Israel last year, adding that an extra $1 billion to its base outlays, which averaged $3.8 billion annually, to help the country replenish the cache of missile interceptors for its so-called Iron Dome defense system. You have new tools to keep Israel strong and secure, he said, adding, we'll make sure that Israel can defend itself by itself. After arriving in Tel Aviv on Wednesday, Biden toured a display of Israel's air defense technology, including the Iron Dome and the Arrow and David's Sling surface-to-air missile systems. He said he also saw a presentation on the Iron Beam, a laser-based system that's under development. Israeli defense officials claimed in April that the Iron Beam had passed a series of groundbreaking tests, providing its ability to intercept rockets, drones, anti-tank missiles, and shrapnel. Is scheduled to go into service sometime this year, beating an earlier target of 2024. Israel has sought U.S. investment to help fund further development of the Iron Beam. Haifa-based Rafi Advanced Defense Systems, which is state-owned, said last year that it would collaborate with the U.S. defense contractor Lockheed Martin on a ground-based laser weapon for Israel. The company signed a tentative agreement to explore opportunities to market the system in the U.S. So, crazy. Just what they need is more toys. Hang on, let me have a drink of coffee. I only got a couple more tabs open. Then we'll skedaddle. I don't know which day or days that I'll get videos done. I know that the next couple of days it's going to be a bit warm, so I don't know if I'll get anything done as far as video stuff outside or not. Yeah, we're talking 95 and 96 the next 2 days. I can't do much for long outside in the heat as far as video because my Pocket 2 will overheat real quick. If it's like 95 degrees out, yeah, it don't take long and it overheats. So it does not like heat. But actually it's not as bad now. I've been actually recording the videos 30 frames per second instead of 60. Because that makes it easier on me in the back end, because then I can just save it as for some reason if I do 4K 60 and I go to save with Adobe Premiere, it wants to force me to do it in H.265 in order to get the 4K 60 frames, and I ain't about that. I just want to be H.264, and it kicks down the frame size automatically if I do that. However, if it's only 30 frames per second, then Adobe doesn't do that, and it leaves it the regular size and all that. It's just 30 frames a second. So I don't know. I am not a video guru. I just can slap stuff together once in a while when I feel like it. I'm not a fan of editing. That's why you don't see a bunch of video content from me, and what you do see is not all flair and all that. I could do it. I know how to do it. I just don't have the interest in spending all day producing one video. To me, that's, I don't know, it's just not what I want to do with my time. Let's see. Inflation in France hits highest in decades. Of course, we're hearing that particular report coming out all around the world. Consumer prices in France have reached their highest rate in over 3 decades. Data from the state statistics agency, NC, showed on Wednesday. According to the report, inflation in the country decreased by 0.9%, big difference, in June from the month before, driving annual inflation to 6.5%, its highest level since 1991. The figures marked the second consecutive record month for inflation since France began using the EU's calculation methods in the early 1990s. Howdy, Midnight Rider. Let's see. The country's National Consumer Price Index was also up at 5.8% year-on-year from 5.2% in May. NC indicated that inflation was mainly driven by surging energy prices, which have increased 33.1% in annual terms. Data also showed that the cost of services rose by 3.3% year-on-year. French government and the central bank have both cut their economic growth forecasts for this year. Bank of France Governor Francois Villeroy de Galhau, I don't know, but I think I got the Francois right, or I'm close, I think. Anyway, told France Info Radio on Wednesday that stagflation in the country can't be ruled out. The regulator's main scenario still points to 2.3% growth for the whole of 2022. Finance Minister Bruno Le Maire has warned that the state is running out of fiscal space to keep offsetting rising energy prices for firms and households. So, yeah. But you know what? It's not all bad news in the world today. No. Okay, so I've got a stupid example of what's not as bad a news. Embrace my stupid example. Facebook is now allowing users to create multiple accounts. I knew it. You'd be all excited. You'd be all happy. Says here, Facebook parent company Meta hopes to combat declining user numbers by allowing users to create multiple accounts, Bloomberg revealed on Thursday. Certain users will be able to create as many as 4 additional profiles, the report says. The new profiles are said to be linked to the original account, and any violation committed by one will adversely affect the others. New accounts reportedly can't be used for sock puppeting, repeatedly liking a post or commenting under the false pretense of being multiple people. Facebook instead hopes users will create them for different aspects of their lives, one for friends, one for co-workers, one for special interests, and so on, Bloomberg says. I see what they're doing here. Nope, not me. I will have one. One. Period. One. People in this country are already two-faced enough. Seriously? Facebook... I mean, they were doing that on their own. Now Facebook's going to just encourage it. Yeah, good idea. However, according to the report, the extra profiles need not display the user's real identity, a decision that represents something of a 180 for the social media behemoth. Yeah, I mean, that's going to be like, you want to talk about Wild Wild West. That's going to be insanity. Trust me on that. While Facebook has allowed public figures to keep multiple profiles and allowed users to have separate profile on its Facebook dating and Facebook campus services, operating multiple personal accounts was previously forbidden. Facebook parent company Meta is struggling with declining user numbers as young people flock to TikTok and other competitors. The company lost daily users for the first time in the last quarter of 2021, with some 500,000 individuals drifting away from the once dominant platform. The slump has been especially pronounced among young users who are fleeing Facebook in droves and even distancing themselves from Instagram. Meta revealed last year that teens spend triple the amount of time on TikTok that they do on Instagram and prefer Snapchat over Messenger or WhatsApp for communicating with their friends. While Facebook rebranded as Meta in a conscious shift from focusing solely on social media, the metaverse has proven less than profitable for the company as well, losing over $10 billion in 2021. According to Bloomberg, Meta insists it will not use the multiple accounts in calculating its monthly or daily active user totals and claims the new direction is just a test available to some U.S. users and some in a few other countries. They can keep that crap. I'm good with one account. That's all I need. I'm one person. Oh, man. Maybe we all ought to just sit around a campfire and pack up a big old bowl of Fruit Loops. And, I don't know. Sounds like a plan. Anyway, I wouldn't know anything about that kind of stuff because I'm an angel. I'm an angel. I'm a virgin. I'm pure as the driven snow. Surprised I haven't gotten a few things chucked at me yet. It's coming. The dog's gonna help her bury me. They've already got that all worked out. So just know that I'm not pointing fingers or anything, but if I come up missing and there's a shallow grave, yeah, those two. I'm not, accusing or anything. Just, Oh, man. I am tired. I'm tired. Let's do some headlines and get the hell out of here. Alright, I got one from last night that came out after the show. U.S. vows to defend Pacific ally from China. And then from this morning that I put out, Biden rejects Israel apartheid claims. French opposition unites to end COVID pass. Trade among BRICS countries is soaring, says data. U.S. growth forecast is cut. Ukraine reveals negotiation endpoint. North Korea cut off by Kiev. Let's see. Ukrainian militants forced mothers and newborns out of maternity wards, says Russian Ministry of Defense. U.S. wants U.S. wants China and India to pay Russia less for crude. Pretty sure they don't get to say that. Russia responds to U.S. abuse claims. 3 more countries set to join BRICS, says an official. That's kind of a big deal to watch. U.S. and South Korea in first joint stealth fighter drill. U.S. national held in DPR custody, says media. A heated debate in U.S. Senate erupts over abortion rights for men. Yeah, you heard that correctly. Abortion rights for men. EU forced to tap gas reserves amid Russian supply shortfall. Might of the Islamic Revolution. Can Iranian drones help Russia and Ukraine? It was kind of an article talking about them. U.S. provides Kiev with intelligence on Donbass targets, says Moscow. A bumper grain harvest predicted for Russia. Ukraine conflict sparked World War II, or World War III, says Serbian president. Russia ramps up punishments for taking enemy kids, or enemy side. Where am I getting these words? Words, letters, phrases. Russian exclave head hails blockade victory. Ukraine claims Russia hit the city center. Uber is sued by hundreds of women. They Sam Waltoned Uber. New Russian law obliges domestic firms to support military. Greece offers winter quarters to crisis-hit Germans. EU state runs out of space for Ukrainian refugees. Ex-Soviet country lures firms leaving Russia amid sanctions. A hacker convicted over largest data theft in CIA history. Biden reveals U.S. goal in Ukraine. U.S. threatens Russian oil exports. Civilians killed as Ukraine shells Donetsk bus hub, says DPR. Sri Lankan president, let's see, get out of the way, resigned by email, says media. Twitter offline for longest time in years. I know earlier I was trying to tweet out some news when it was down. Like, wow, it was kind of all freaked out. Macron issues warning on Ukraine. Russia warns U.S. as Griner drugs trial resumes. Italian PM Draghi is stepping down. Biden warns Iran on nuke ambitions. Putin signs media discrimination tit-for-tat law. Italian president rejects PM Draghi's resignation. Contents of next EU sanctions package revealed. U.S. and Israel plan joint laser... I covered that one. A video shows fierce battle for Antonov Airport in Ukraine. Covered that one. World is nearing... covered that one. Moscow responds to London's threats. And Brazil's Bolsonaro says he has plans to... he has a plan to end the Ukraine conflict. So, I'm glad he's got one. Anyway, those are the headlines. Not a whole lot too crazy, other than probably the craziest thing, and it didn't really break today or nothing. But dealing with that young girl from Ohio. That's just nonsense. So I really hope they get to the bottom of that, and hope some people burn in hell over that one. Anyway, I am going to get out of here and relax, and I'll try to get a video up. I might do one on one or the other or both or something like that on the power banks. But of course, I gotta do outside stuffs, so we'll see. Who knows? It depends on how I feel and how bad it feels outside. So anyway, I'll get it out when I get it out. Other than that, I don't know of anything else. God willing, we'll be back on Sunday. I hope to see you then. As always, God bless you. We love you. Be one with your spirit. And shalom. Have a good weekend.